Hello, all you wonderful readers. Welcome back to Shelf Check, brought to you by the Carolina Manga Library. Today, we'll be whisked back in time to July, where we will listen to the live antics of our head librarian as she brings us Shelf Check to Metrocon in Tampa, Florida. As usual, we're going to recommend several graphic novels and tell you why they are amazing. As a reminder, we're only recommending series that are officially available in the U.S., either digitally or physically. Today's episode is brought to you by our wonderful patrons. Special thanks goes out to our honorary librarian, Sean Vahek, and our library assistants, DB Explorer, Selwyn Hector, and Bagel. Stay until the end of the broadcast to learn more about joining our Patreon. So with all that out of the way, let's get reading. All right, so with all that said, welcome to Shelf Check, brought to you by the Carolina Manga Library. My name is Laura Mihaffey. I am the founder and head librarian of the Carolina Manga... I don't need internet, thank you. You don't need internet to play a PowerPoint. Stop that. There you go. My name is Laura Mihaffey. I'm the founder and head librarian of the Carolina Manga Library. That means I have the best job on the planet. When you exit this room, glance to your left across the hallway. I brought you 5,427 graphic novels to read for the entire weekend. You can go in that room and you can stay as long as you want. Pick up anything off the shelves, read whatever you want. If you don't know what to read, come ask me. I will addict you to something new. I'm really good at my job. Okay? So what this panel is going to be, you may have seen this panel before. I see a couple of familiar faces that I love. I am going to take the next 45 minutes or so and recommend you some stuff that I have read over the last couple of months that are amazing. Okay? Couple of things. Every single book I'm going to talk about, I brought it with me. It is in the manga library. If you like it, take a picture of the screen. Ooh, popping. Rude. Take a picture of the screen and just follow my sparkly butt across the hallway. I will put it in your hands so you can read it. Okay? I'm only going to recommend stuff that's literally in my library. I am vehemently opposed to scanlations because I'm a librarian. It's kind of against my whole librarianism. So hopefully you enjoy this. I'm going to give you 2 recommendations from a whole bunch of different genres. Hold your questions till the end because I'm the level of tired where I'm really easily distracted. And if you ask me a fun question, I'm going to go off on a tangent. It's going to be great. Please don't do that to me. They're very conscientious on time at this con. I don't want to go over. Okay? Questions before we get started? No? This is going to be pretty simple, y'all. So we're going to start off with some action series. And these are all brand new. I rewrote this literally this morning as my crew was setting up the library. I'm not allowed to lift anything because I'm pregnant. So I had to sit in my chair. Thank you. I had to sit in my chair and just give orders. They wouldn't let me do anything. It's very not like me. So I'm like, all right, fine. I'm going to rewrite my panel. This is what's going to happen. It was very funny. All right. So let's start off with Tank Chair. Tank Chair is about a really, really cool assassin who's really good at his job until one day the bad guys kidnap his little sister. And he gets really mad about it, and he goes to rescue her, and he makes a mistake because he's too focused on saving his sister, and he gets shot in the head. Very sad. But he's so tough that he doesn't die. He's just in a coma, okay? Persistent vegetative coma. So his little sister, feeling guilty, goes and sees him every single day in the hospital and brings him food and stuff. And one day she drops a steak knife towards his bed, and it almost stabs him in the leg, and he reaches up and he catches it. And he wakes up from his coma for exactly 33 seconds. So she tries to stab him again, and he stops the knife again, and he wakes up for another 33 seconds. And they realize together that if his life is threatened, he comes out of the coma, and his brain heals itself long enough for him to function for short periods of time. So they hatch a plan. The sister is going to go take every single dangerous assassin job she can find, because eventually she hopes her brother will wake up fully, and his brain will completely heal itself. He's still paralyzed from the waist down. So the reason this is called Tank Chair is that his wheelchair is a weapon of mass destruction. It can do everything, including climb up walls with giant tank treads. This is so hyper violent, it's hilarious. I was not gonna like this. This was not a series that I was gonna read. One of my patrons recommended it, and I said, fine, I'll read it because I like you. And then I read it, and I immediately sent a message saying I hate them, because now I had to buy the whole stinking thing. If this is not an anime next year, I will be in shock. Okay? Tank Chair was so good, though. It's so funny. And it's so heartwarming, too, at the same time, because the brother and sister genuinely just want him to get better. And I just love it. Okay, I had to have one library book. It's like a contractual obligation. So Spellbook Library is about, basically there's this, in this fantasy world, there is a library that you can go work at that has like all the magic in the world sealed into books. And the more magical power you have and the more ability you have to read, the more magic you get. So it follows two young guys who take the exam together and both get in to be librarians, and it's them kind of training to be magical spellbook librarians. It's fairly straightforward, fairly simple. Of course, the guy in the main cover is a little tiny short dude, and he's got all kinds of wonderful secrets, because he's really powerful already and nobody knows why. It just leads the whole mystery of the whole series. It's really, really good. If you like things like Mages of the Library or like Apothecary Diaries, this is right up your alley, okay? So good. Oh my god, so good. Spellbook Library. Oh, thank goodness. I love romance so much. I love it so much. I used to joke that if you cut me open, I would bleed glitter and shoujo. So, all right. Single standalone graphic novel. This is Hereditary Triangle. This is one of those adult romances that I love to actually read when it's not a bunch of teeny boppers who have no idea how to express their feelings. God, I love it. So, 3 friends in high school, 2 dudes in love with the same girl. They're all 3 best friends. One of them eventually ends up realizing the other one loves the girl, and so he decides to take himself out of the equation. He disappears. He just, like, drops out of school, doesn't call anybody, and is just gone, okay? The other 2 are really upset about it. They never realized that he left so they could be together. And they grow up, they get married, they move back to their hometown to take care of his dad. And the main character, the guy, walks out the door one day and he looks to his left where his friend used to live at his neighbor's house. And his friend is standing there. But it's his friend from high school, like the same age. And he's completely flabbergasted. It's like, wait a minute, you're dead. We literally went to your funeral. We know you died like 5 years ago. And the person he's talking to says, oh, yeah, that's my dad. So they're using generational trauma to heal the breach that happened to them through this boy. It's a really, really good, deep story. It's one of the ones that's going to kind of hook you and make you read it and make you not move while you read it. I didn't move for a good 45 minutes because it's thick. And by the time I was crying at the end of it, my husband kind of like leans out of his chair when he's game. He's like, you all right? And I said, no. I said, he's like, do you need Red Lobster? I'm like, yes. So like, all right, finish the book and we'll go to Red Lobster. It's the best shrimp ever. So yeah, Hereditary Triangle, if you like your romance adult and with a lot of good feelings, absolutely no magic whatsoever, completely realistic, you're going to want to read Hereditary Triangle. But if you like your romance a little silly and stupid, you're going to go read Colette Decides to Die. All right? So Colette Decides to Die is about a girl who is the doctor for her little town in the middle of Greece. Okay? And her village has become so dependent upon her that they come to her at all hours of the night. Over, I got a splinter. I have a Charlie horse. The poor girl doesn't get to sleep. She's just constantly healing this village because they're so dependent on her, and she's so nice, she always says yes. So finally she decides, I can't take this anymore. I'm just going to go kill myself. I'm so tired because then I will finally be able to sleep. So she puts all of her affairs in order, puts a sign on the door, says out of order for her doctor's office, and she goes to the backyard and she jumps down a well, intending to drown herself. And she closes her eyes, jumps in the well, and she takes a deep breath, and there's no water in the well. And she falls down, and all the way to the underworld, where these big skeleton dudes are like, oh, good, the doctor's here. Lord Hades needs you right now. So she goes and heals Lord Hades, who is sick because he is as much of a workaholic as she is. Rekindles her love for doctoring, rekindles her desire to help this town, and to continue to go down and keep healing Lord Hades. So she spends her time going back and forth between the living world healing people and the dead world healing Lord Hades, who is, of course, hot, because of course he is. This is so funny and stupid and lovely. I can't believe this isn't an anime yet. It has, like, all the hallmarks of what you actually want in a good romance anime. The art is phenomenal. I think it's only like 6 books long, so it's a very short series. But I smiled the whole time I was reading it. And if you smile the whole time you're reading a manga, it's a good manga. All right. Oh, thank God, blood and guts. All right. Horror. 100 ghost stories that will lead to my death. This is so creepy, and I hate it. This is so wonderfully creepy. These are 100 short stories told by a little boy to something that lives in his bedroom. I don't know what lives in his bedroom, but it sits on his desk, and he talks to it. Like, so whatever he's talking to is like the camera, and the kid's facing you the whole time. And sometimes he'll like cover it up if somebody else walks in, or he'll walk in and he won't see it. He'll like see that the thing is, whatever's there is not there. And he's like, where'd you go? Oh, there you are. And then in between each of those little vignettes is this just dark, horribly, wonderfully grotesque short horror stories. They make Junji Ito look tame. Not gonna lie, okay? They have more story than Ito usually does. Ito focuses a lot on his art, which is perfect, because what he does. But these have the grotesque art on top of the really creepy stories. So, it's only the first book's like 5 or 6 of the stories. And eventually the kid says, after I tell you the 100 stories, you'll let me live, right? You promise? You promise I'm gonna live at the end of the 100 stories? I haven't finished it yet. I have no idea if the kid lives or not. This is so good. It's so good. I read it and I didn't want to go to bed. I was like, no, this is creepy. I'm going to stay up and play like Kingdom Hearts or something with colors in it. Okay, I just can't do this. They are appropriate. You can read them. It's okay. They're just kind of creepy. But there's not a lot of blood and guts and stuff in it. It's just creepy. So yeah, try this one, please. I'm begging you. I need more people to know about my pain and my trauma. And then you can go read this one. Don't read this one. Don't read. You two, no. Okay, just no. I'm going to tell you about it, but don't read it. And if you do, don't tell him. Okay. All right. Hauntress is one of those creepy ghost stories that makes you hate everything about your life. Those are always fun, right? All right. So college dude lives in an apartment by himself. And one day he comes home to find this woman knocking on the door next door over and over and over and over again, trying to get the dude that lives there to come to the door. And she's like tall and pale with long stringy black hair and a white trench coat. Already creepy, right? Straight out of like a Shyamalan thing. Hate it to pieces. So he tells the girl that the dude lives next door is probably out at work and to have, come back later. And he goes into his apartment and she knocks on his door. And she says, can I borrow your cell phone, please? I need to call a ride. So he lets her into the apartment for a few minutes and gives her his cell phone. She gets to call her ride, and then she disappears, and the guy goes to bed. Doesn't see her staring in the window at him. And the next day, he comes home, and she's in his apartment, just waiting for him. Doesn't know how he got in the apartment. She's just standing there waiting for him. So you have one of these wonderfully creepy ghosts that's following this poor kid, and you don't know why, and you don't know how. And she's one of those skittering zombies, that like crab walk weird. I hate skittering zombies so much. I hate skittery ghosties. But she's one of those. It is dark and creepy in a single book, and it makes you feel like you want to glance behind your shoulder when you walk out from the con tonight in the dark. Try it. Please try it, because again, people need to know about this one. It actually just got rescued from licensing heck. It's been in production forever to try to get it over here, but too many of the censors were like, no, this is going to scare the children. And they're like, it's not for children. Don't let them read it. Let the adults have their scary moment. So yeah, finally it's over here and I'm very happy. Shameless plug. Sorry. The manga library has a Patreon. It's how we buy new books for the library. If you choose to scan this QR code and join it, let me know. I'll be in the library the rest of the weekend. You get an exclusive thank you gift. You don't have to do this, I promise. I just like to plug it because it's there. All right. Comedy. Yeah, we haven't talked about the funny ones yet, had we? Magical Girl Incident. Nope. All right. Magical Girl Incident is about a normal office worker who has wanted his entire life to be something better. He's always told himself that someday he's going to be a hero and he's going to be able to, jump in front of a train and save somebody from train tracks or whatever. It's going to be his life. So he's walking home from work one day and he sees a little kid getting attacked by this giant shadow thing. And the salary dude's like, I was just going to go home and get drunk, but all right, go time. So he runs at the dark thing and he rips off his tie and he leaps at the dark thing and then tackles it and then looks down at himself and realizes he has transformed into a magical girl. Like straight up woman. Pink hair, chest, nothing in between his legs. 100% magical girl. And he beats up the dark cloud thingy and he passes out. And he wakes up in his own bed. And he's like, all right, no more alcohol for me. obviously whatever I drank last night was tainted, so I'm going to go back to work now. And he goes to work. He goes home. He's walking home. And he sees a dark cloud attacking another child. And he's like, all right, it's go time. Runs at the thing, rips off his tie, turns into a magical girl again, and defeats it. Doesn't pass out this time. Turns around after he defeats the dark thing and sees his best friend from work just kind of staring at him open mouth like, bro? Miss bro? Bro? So they then embark on a series of experiments to figure out how and why he turns into a magical girl. Turns out the trigger is him ripping off his tie dramatically, which is like the best thing ever. And the first book ends with him fighting another big dark creature thingy and getting saved by essentially Tuxedo Mask, who's like, oh good, I have finally found you, my eternal partner. It is funny and stupid, and I loved every minute of it. I was surprised at everything. I haven't told you any of the spoilers, I promise. I just told you the bare bones of it. There's so much more in this. It is funny and stupid, and I love it, and it's great. And again, this has to be an anime soon. It's so absurd that it has to be. And you gotta love that gender bending. Man, you gotta love gender bending when it's done right. You know? And after you read that, go read Hanako Akaba's Bodyguards. Oh, God. All right, so this girl named Hanako, normal high school girl, does not know that she is the secret granddaughter, the hidden granddaughter of a huge Yakuza boss. Huge gangster boss, okay? She has no idea that that's her grandfather. But her grandfather is dying, and he has yet to name his successor. So the other Yakuza find out about his secret granddaughter and figure, oh, she's going to be the next boss. Let's kill her now. So everything will be fine, right? We'll take over the Yakuza and it'll be great. So the Yakuza grandpa contacts Hanako's best friend, who happens to be a really good street fighter. And he says, all right, son, listen up. You're getting hired. You're going to protect my granddaughter from everybody, and I'm going to take care of you for the rest of your life. Because I'm going to make you a deal that you can't refuse. An offer that you can't refuse. Shows you how old I am. So the dude, who is secretly in love with his best friend, of course he is, says, bet. I'm absolutely going to have you take care of me the rest of my life and save my friend. This sounds great. So he is constantly fighting off a bunch of Yakuza assassins and bodyguards, and she has no idea. He has to keep it a secret from her because Grandpa wants her to live a normal life. Here's the big trick. There's one day where he's fighting off a whole bunch of assassins and he's starting to lose. And one of his other classmates shows up and kicks everybody's butt. And he's like, dude, what are you doing? And he's like, dude, didn't you know the entire class are all hired assassin bodyguards for this girl? You're just like the one on the ground. We do everything else. We're protecting you from the bigger threats. So her entire class are all secret, super spies and bodyguards. And they're all there to protect her, and she has no clue why. She has no clue that any of this is happening. It is absurd. Completely absurd. And it's the right kind of absurdity. You completely don't believe it, but it's written in such a fun and interesting way that you want to believe it. Okay? So try out Hanako's Bodyguards. I laughed most of the time. It was great. I love your ears so much I can't even stand you. Just so you know. Just both of you. Love your ears. Nope. Bye. Thanks for visiting. You're still cute. All right. What time am I? Oh, still doing good. Okay. Fantasy. All right, here we go. Lucille has a dream. This is one of those wonderful post-apocalyptic manga. God, I love post-apocalyptic manga so much. And this one is probably the most gorgeously drawn one I have seen in probably 8 years. I mean, it is so flowy and pretty and just I want to see it animated just to look at it. Okay? Because the world is not destroyed. Nature has reclaimed this world. Okay? Humanity was dying and they froze themselves in cryogenic pods, thinking that somebody will wake them up when the earth is no longer toxic. Well, guess what? The earth is no longer toxic. And a wandering narcoleptic wizard, finds this little boy in a cryopod, and he wakes him up, and now he is kind of following this little boy around as the little boy just wants to find more humans. And he's protecting the little boy from something very dark and very scary that I'm not going to tell you what it is because it scared the crap out of me, and I don't want to think about it again. But this is one of those melancholy series. It's melancholy apocalyptic. So, when they eventually do find a human in book 1, The human doesn't want to be there anymore. But he doesn't want to make the kids sad. So it's one of those, okay? It's all very eerie. It's very ethereal, which is one of the only words I could think of to describe this series. It's very, very, very flowy. Like that really good, like 80s fantasy flowy, okay? You know what I'm talking about, right? Yes, the very whimsical. That's a great word. Thank you. It's a very whimsical story. I have no idea where it's going. I've read like 5 books of this, and I still have no clue what's going on. But I want to know. And the story and the characters are so interesting, especially the narcoleptic wizard. I love him to death. Because you think that he's just like completely making fun of the kid the whole time, and he's like completely lying. And then he'll bust out some kind of huge magical spell, and it'll be amazing. And then he'll go sleep for like 4 days. It's absolutely fantastic. I loved every minute of reading this. I loved the art. I loved the characters. I loved the story. I loved the setting. I love everything about it. And I loved crying like a 5-year-old halfway through book 1. It's that kind of story. I almost didn't put this one in fantasy. So this is the Concierge at Hokokyu department store. And I didn't almost put this in fantasy because it's fantasy along the same vein as things like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Or like Ocean's 11. Okay? Those movies are practically fantasy movies, but they're based in reality. So this is a story about a department store where everybody who shops there is an animal of some kind. Okay? But they're treated as if this is completely normal. The humans that work there and the animals that work there treat everybody like they're supposed to in a real department store. And our story follows a rookie clerk just learning the job for the first time and the problems she runs into and the trials and tribulations that she has dealing with. Different species of animals have different needs. You can't insult an elephant by calling them teeny. You know, there's little faux pas that you wouldn't think about when you have a whole bunch of animals as your department store people. The main character is super endearing. I just love reading about her because she's got that gumption main character energy where I'm going to mess up a lot, but like you're going to love it when I mess up because I'm also just so gosh darn friendly. She's one of those. Very me. Very, very me. So I loved her to death. I also loved how the different animals, they try to teach you about the different species, which is kind of fun. Like, geese can't eat bread, aren't supposed to eat bread before otherwise they get sick. And a goose accidentally eats a cake that has bread in it and gets sick, and the main character has to go save her from choking. So just little things like that, just about the animals. So it's written completely 100% truthfully. It's like they treat it completely serious. Like they don't treat it like a fantasy story. They don't treat it like an absurd story. They treat it as absolute fact and reality, which is why I always felt a little weird putting it in this panel, but it's there and it's great. These 2 stories have absolutely nothing to do with magic. At all. Well, okay, I'm lying because this one does. Destroy all humans. They can't be regenerated. This is about Magic the Gathering, the card game. The whole series is about the card game. Okay? It takes place in the 90s. Yay. All right. So our main character is a dude that just loves Magic the Gathering. Okay? Magic the Gathering was a huge thing in the 90s. It was just starting to get big in Japan. It was really getting big in the United States. And all he wants to do is play Magic the Gathering. It's like his entire reason for being. Okay? And one day he goes to a tournament in the next town to play Magic the Gathering. And he's like, and everyone's like, no one's going to beat the Black Knight. No one's going to beat the Black Knight. And our kid battles his way all the way up to the final round, and he's fighting the Black Knight. And the crowd kind of parts, and he sits down at the table, and his opponent sits down. And it's this completely drop-dead, gorgeous girl who happens to be the student body president of his high school, who is secretly absolutely obsessed with Magic the Gathering. So they become unlikely friends, and they bond over Magic the Gathering. You don't have to know anything about Magic the Gathering to like this series, because they're going to teach you how to play it. Matter of fact, when you go buy the books, they give you an exclusive card to use that is actually legal in tournaments right now until they, rewrite the rules next year and say it's not, which they do a lot. I loved this. It had so many 90s throwbacks and 90s jokes. I felt very seen because I am old. It's very funny. The friendship is really heartwarming because they start to defend each other from other people in the school. And they're like, we're allowed to be friends because we have this this thing that we bond over, but there are other friends like, you can't be friends with the nerdy guy. You can't be friends with the student body president. Like, screw you. I'm playing Magic the Gathering. Go away. So it's got that kind of energy. It's a very good series, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. This one's a little weird. This one's a little deep. This is The Witch's Life in Mongol. I literally read this on Monday. Okay? So the Patreon that I talked about earlier, no, that's not another shameless plug. We use the Patreon to buy new books for the library, the brand new books that are just released, because nobody donates those. 98% of my library is donations from people over the years. Okay, we've been doing this for 12 years this year. But of course, we have to be able to afford the new stuff, because you guys just don't want to go reread Death Note 600 times. You want something new. So do I. This is one of those. And my patrons actually get to vote on which books I buy every month. And this was number 1 for last month. So I ordered it, and I sat down, I read it on Monday as I'm supposed to be packing to go to this convention. And I didn't move for 45 minutes. I read the first 2 pages, and I was like, oh no, this is an ordeal. This is a realistic fiction story, historical fiction, okay? Takes place during the time of Genghis Khan, okay? So in Western Asia, I know directions, I promise. In Western Asia, Genghis Khan is slowly taking over all the villages of the whole region, and he's going to bring them all under one kingdom and be the emperor, okay? And this little girl is a slave child, but she's been bought by a family of scholars. And the family of scholars decides that this little girl has potential, so they're going to teach her how to read and how to reason and how to be a scholar, so that when she gets sold, she can buy her freedom with her smarts, okay? They really want to take care of this little girl. And so she grows up with them. She's like 12 or 13 now, and she's been reading like Aristotle and Euripides and all these really cool things. And one day the Mongols come, and they destroy her village, completely destroy it. And they take the little girl captive, and she becomes the wise woman to the heir to Genghis Khan's wife, okay? But she hates them. She hates the Mongols with everything in her being. So she decides, I'm going to play along with you until I can kill all of you and bring your entire kingdom down, because I'm smarter than all of you. This was so fascinating. The one thing I will warn you about, the art style is weird, okay? The art style is really, really strange. The way they draw the characters, it doesn't matter if the character is like 45 or if the character is like 13, they all look the same age. They all, it's so weird. I had to get used to it. But once you like go into it with that mindset of everyone's going to look weird, it's great. Okay? The storyline is compelling. The little girl is absolutely fascinating with the way she goes back and forth between, like idolation of the heir's wife to make herself ingratiated to the wife, and then her inner monologue is like, I can't wait until, I bring your whole kingdom down around your ears, and I hate all of you. It's such an interesting dichotomy. And the story itself is just so tragic. So give it a shot. It's definitely a weird recommendation, but I read it, and I want other people to read it, so I know I'm not crazy. I don't think I'm crazy. What day is it? Is it Friday? I'm not crazy on Fridays. I'm usually crazy on Tuesdays. Tuesday's a useless day anyway. It's the worst day of the week. All right. Unique. These could go somewhere else, but there's something about them that's just so flippin' weird that they had to have their own category. Thank God this is getting an anime. The Darwin incident. There are vegan terrorists. They are literally vegans who are terrorists who want to stop all animal cruelty and animal products from being sold. But they're terrorists. So they do this by blowing up places and killing people, which is very sad. Okay? Vegan terrorists. God. So one day, the vegan terrorists go blow up an animal research facility, and they find this chimpanzee who was pregnant, and they rescue the chimpanzee, and she has a baby. The baby is half human. Our main character is a human Z. And the vegan terrorists, which I'm not tired of saying yet, raise the baby to be a normal human. He doesn't think like a human, really. He reasons like a human. He speaks like a human and everything. But at the same time, he's also animal. So he goes to school, and people make fun of him, and he doesn't understand why. Because an animal just doesn't comprehend the cruelty. And he's just trying to live his normal life until the vegan terrorists come back. And they kidnap him, and they think, okay, he's going to be like the face of our organization because he's a hybrid between a human and a chimpanzee. He's everything we're fighting against. And he doesn't want anything to do with them. He just wants to go back to his family and go back to his school. This one's trippy. I'm not going to lie. This one is trippy. Okay? I don't know where it's going. I can't wait to read the rest of it. I can't wait to watch the anime. It's going to make you feel uncomfortable things. And it's going to make you think uncomfortable thoughts. And at the end of the day, you're going to go to bed, and the only thing you're going to be thinking about is vegan terrorists. Because vegan terrorists. Okay, don't read this one either. Okay? All right. This is Orb on the Movements of Earth. This is another historical fiction about the medieval? Renaissance idea. Renaissance. I cannot time period right now. I'm too tired. It's when scientists were discovering that the Earth is not the center of the universe. The sun is. Heliocentrism. Okay? This is about the discovery of that, the defense of that, the church's reaction to that, and the people that died to move the research forward. There are some very graphic torture scenes in this. I'm just going to warn you right now. Trigger warning up the wazoo. But the story is incredibly compelling because they actually teach you the science of heliocentrism and the actual history of what happened to these people when they challenged the paradigm of, they don't call it the Catholic Church in this. It's just the C Church, which is really funny to me. But if you know anything about history, it's Catholic Church. The old, scary Catholic Church. Not the good Catholic Church we have now. They're fine. They're fine. They're great. Not the old, scary ones. The ones that would, burn you for saying, left is right. So the research gets getting passed to different researchers, and the time passes as you move to a new researcher. So it's telling you the history in a semi-fantasy, real, reimagined kind of way. This is not, none of these people were actually real. It's not an actual inquisitor we're going to talk to. It's not an actual researcher. It's a character. But this is another one of those that's going to make you think, and it's going to make you feel uncomfortable, and then you're really going to want to read book 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 9 and all of them. Okay? So, very unique. Very, I read it, and I just sat there kind of sitting on my couch and kind of stared off in the darkness for 10 minutes. And my cat jumped up in my lap, and I didn't even look. I just started petting it. So my husband comes in the room, and he sees me staring off at nothing, petting the cat. And he just looks at me, he's like, is this a pregnancy thing, or, is you okay? Did you have a stroke? I'm like, no, I'm fine. Just thinking about manga. Just stroking the cat. And he just walked away. He knows when to leave. All right. Shameless plug number 2. And we're almost done, actually. You guys are doing very, very well. If you're enjoying this, I literally do this once a month as a podcast. It's literally this panel. There's a different theme every month. Last month's was, why did you make me read this? I've done other ones on, just romance, just all romance books. I did one on, fine, I'll talk about isekai, because I hate isekai. So I talked about 11 isekai I actually liked, because one of my patrons got so mad at me that I talked about how much I hate isekai. I'm sorry. I hate most isekai, because it's the same stupid storyline with one gimmick. Okay? I have the same problem with Slice of Life. It's the same 5 stupid girls with the same 5 stupid hair colors doing the 5 same stupid technique, activities in the same stupid school with one gimmick.
These guys gotten better because they all know that's the exact same formula for each and every.
Come to my next panel. Come to my, if you guys haven't been to it, it's tomorrow, I don't know what time, but the Wreck Your Shelf panel, it's going to be this, but it's all the weird crap I've read for the last couple of months. And there's an isekai you're going to want to hear me talk about, okay? It's at 12. Thank you. So yeah, come do that. But anyway, if you enjoy this, please subscribe to the podcast. It's fun. It's on YouTube and Spotify. All right. We're down to my very last one for the day. Actually, got through that fast enough. No, I'm not going to get up and get moving. I'm in a panel. There. I'm moving. All right. Head librarian's favorite. This could be anywhere. This could be anywhere else in the panel. I just really like talking about it. This is a webcomic on Webtoon called Nothing Special. Nothing Special is coming out in book form right now. It's going to be 5 books long, and it's the entire series. The author had to go on hiatus for 2 years. Not because she got bored or because something happened, she got writer's block or something stupid like that. A tree fell on her house and it fell into her bedroom, and it gave her permanent nerve damage throughout her entire body, and she had to learn to walk again and had to reteach herself how to draw. That's a pretty good reason for a hiatus. But she wasn't, lazy during that hiatus. She was still drawing. And she was still contacting all of her people in all the publishing companies. By the time she got back from hiatus, she had a 5-book deal. So, you can read this completely for free on Webtoon, right up to literally publishing last Monday. And she never misses an update. It's one of my favorite things about her. Or you can go read the books. Now that I've told you why it's awesome, let me tell you about the actual story. So, Nothing Special is the story about a girl named Callie who is completely convinced that nothing about her is interesting, okay? So her dad's a demon. So she's got a closet to the demon realm she's got a portal to the demon realm in her closet. So she can see dead things. What's special about that, right? So she goes through her whole high school life, and one day she bumps into this dude who she's known her entire life. His name's Declan, he's great. And she trips, and he catches her, and she turns around to glare and yell at the thing that tripped her, which is a ghost. She doesn't see dead people, she sees dead vegetables. Like dead dandelions, and dead radishes, and dead trees. Because everything has a spirit, she can see all of them. So she turns around to yell at the thing, and Declan is kind of holding her, and he says, "You can see them too?" Oh my god. So they strike up a very good friendship. And Callie's 17th birthday rolls around, they go home to her place. And she's like, "Yeah, you're gonna meet my dad, it's gonna be fun, and we're gonna, order some really crappy dim sum, watch a great horror movie, it's gonna be a fantastic birthday." And they open up the door, and her house is kind of, destroyed inside. There's, bloody handprints everywhere, and all the furniture's turned over, and she can't find her father anywhere. So she goes kind of pale, and she looks at Declan, and she says, "Listen to me. I need you to go home, pretend you never met me. I've got to go to the demon realm and go find my father, and you can't go with me because you're human." So she's running around, packing things to go to this, epic adventure, and Declan's just kind of standing there, kind of staring at her, not understanding anything that's going on. And she opens up her closet, and there's a portal to the demon realm. And she's like, "No, seriously, go home. You've been a great friend to me. I'm sorry about this, but I have to go. And you can't come with me because you're human." And he kind of looks at the portal, and he looks at her. And he grabs her around the waist, and he jumps backwards to the portal, and he says, "Honey, I'm not human either." Forgot to tell you that. So now they are on an epic quest to go through the Elder Woods to find her missing demon father. On top of that being a fantastic hook. I mean, really. This is probably the funniest thing I have read in 15... This is so good. I started reading it, the first week it came out on Webtoon, 5 years ago. I read it. I read the first chapter, and I was like, oh no, this is my jam. This is everything I ever loved in my life, because these two main characters are such nerds, okay? To pass the time, they just, quote different movie quotes back and forth, and they try to guess the movie, okay? They're constantly making, Star Wars puns, and... At one point, they meet this cute black demon dude who's the best character in the whole thing. His name's Lasser. He loves cats. He's great. My favorite character. Anyway, they adopt him, and they're going on their journey. I'm like, okay, off to Mordor. And the little demon dude in the back says, "Oh, we're going to Mordor? That's that way." And they're like, "Those books are real?" And little demon dude's like, "I don't know about books, but it's a really old story. It was really sad. A lot of orcs died." It's that kind of humor. Okay? On top of the art style being great, the characters being great, the storyline being great, everything about this series is great. It is the most special, not special thing I've ever read. Okay? Everybody I've ever had read this has loved it. I haven't had a single person read this yet and be like, "I don't want to read this anymore." Usually, I give somebody the first chapter of the webtoon, and usually they're on the phone with me the next day saying, "Where do I buy this?" Okay? It's one of those sleeper hits. It's so good and so funny, and I hope that you read it. Even if you don't follow me back and I'll put it in your hands, just go read it on Webtoon. Okay? God, I love this series so much. So those are all the recommendations for you I have for this panel. So we've still got 5 minutes, so I do have time for questions, if anybody has any questions. Otherwise, I'm going to play you another funny video. Questions? Yes. 42. There's a whole song about that, actually. It's a country song by Faith Hill, What the Secret of Life Is. And she lists 15 things of the secret of life, and none of them are right. To me, it's apple pie. That's my first pregnancy craving was apple pie, and now I have to have apple pie every single day, and I hate everything. Other questions? Yes.
They actually announced when the books will be.
They're out now. Book 3 is already out. Book 3 came out last week. So you have actually book 4. Book 4? Book 4? Book 3. So the whole first arc is in book 1. Arc 2 got broken into books 2 and 3. And then the next arc that's in Webtoon right now will be books 4 and 5. It just keeps getting better, trust me. Other questions? Anything about my library? Anything about what I do with my life? No? I am 4 months. 4 months along. I am due January 3rd. This is actually my last convention for the next year and a half. Because I can't. Just pregnancy and baby. I can't do it. So, I'm going to try to be back for next year's Metrocon. Other questions? Funny video? Funny video. All right. The 2 children left, so now we can watch Shia LaBeouf. Because if you're going to have something in your head the rest of the day, have Shia LaBeouf in your head. Thanks for joining us for that live performance. This will be our last regular upload for a bit. We've been running this podcast mostly on time for 2 years now. We have loved sharing our reading discoveries with you and hope that you have enjoyed them. Please follow the Carolina Manga Library on our various social media outlets for more antics and for updates about our organization. We will still be posting podcast episodes, but we are mostly giving our head librarian a break as she starts her baby sabbatical. Remember, the Manga Library will be traveling, but our head librarian will be focusing on bringing a new reader into the world. The uploads for the podcast will be very sparse and very inconsistent, so make sure you turn on notifications for whatever system you're listening to us on. Thanks for joining us for this month's episode of Shelf Check, brought to you by the Carolina Manga Library. This episode is written and recorded by the Carolina Manga Library and edited by NoodleBoyMedia. You can find information about NoodleBoyMedia on all social networking sites. Remember, if you're interested in supporting the library, consider becoming a patron. Our patrons get access to the podcast a day early, as well as behind-the-scenes fun like bloopers and transcripts. We're also on X, Instagram, Blue Sky, Discord, YouTube, and Facebook. You can find links to all of this on our website, www.carolinamangalibrary.com. So until next time you hear from us, we'll see you in the stacks.